Ow. Mental muscles. Okay, been a long time. I've been busy. I've been doing things. Been happy. Kind of always had this in the back of my mind. Finally made time for it. Making progress. So, mental muscles. This is a good. So, after the initial breakup that kind of started my whole, deconstruction of my old self back into, I guess, my more natural me, or a better version of me. I don't know where I'm heading right now. I had my mental muscles, like my ability to focus, my control over my anxiety, my calmness, my ability to not think negative thoughts, had that just gone, zip nada. And that really showed over the, that like month span where I wasn't doing this, because I couldn't really control myself. I couldn't control myself mentally. I wasn't able to recognize these negative thoughts and not act out on them. I wasn't able to keep myself like focused in the moment. I wasn't able to do a lot of things because my mental muscles were all extremely weak. And I've noticed now, they're noticeably now a lot stronger than they were before. Sometimes I'd be like, oh, I think they're getting a little bit better, but now they're a lot better than before. And I'm grateful. Fairly grateful. This last weekend, I went back up home, and I went with Sarah. We've been a lot better. God bless. We've been a lot better. And we were just hanging out, all this stuff. And, I spent the night at my friend's, and I was having a really good time. And I eventually went and hung out with my best friend. And I don't know why, in that night, I started to get, negative thoughts. Negative thoughts started to pop up. And I was still texting Sarah that night. And I noticed that feeling that I'd had before, when I followed it, had ruined like everything, because it's just this anxious feeling of like desperation and longing and stuff like that. A feeling that misses the old and wanted to have it back through acting was there again. And if this feeling had shown up a month, 2 months ago, I would have completely just fallen for it. No questions asked. I would not have been strong enough to neglect it. And this time I was. Mentally, I was, having issues, but physically, I was fine. I didn't act out, and I kept myself steady. And that is, at least in my mind, a sign that I've developed stronger mental muscles. A mental muscle, in my opinion, is when to have a strong mental muscle against anxiety would be that you can recognize when your thoughts are fueled by anxiety, the ideas you have, the actions that you want to perform are all fueled by anxiety, and you have the strength to not follow through with them and keep yourself aligned, keep yourself focused to what you're doing, what your original intentions were before this outside source started to come in and poke at you, to knock you off your track. Now, to continue the story, I eventually went to my parents' house the next day. I went back home. And I saw my dad. I had a great time with him. And I don't know, it just struck me as weird because I was back at home. I was back in Vancouver. But this time it was without Sarah. It was different. We drove up together. We had a great time, all this stuff. But it's not how it was before. And that kind of, in the back of my head, I guess that had just been building momentum and it was making it more obvious. And so I started to get a little bit raggedy, and I went upstairs to my room, and I forgot what I was looking for, but when I was looking, I found the very first letter she had sent me when I went to this lake, this camp a few years back. It was like 2 weeks into dating, and I saw it, and I didn't have the strength to not act on my thoughts. My little brother was in the room, and I asked him to leave, and like looking back, I feel bad because he just wanted to spend time with me. He just wanted to be around me. And I didn't really have the you know, this is like if you're curling 30s and all of a sudden someone just drops like a 100-pound barbell on you and says, do 50 curl ups. Like, I was not ready for this. So I acted out and I asked him to leave, and I read the letter, I cried, but I didn't follow through with the other impulses, which would have been to, keep mourning, keep all this stuff. Like, after a while, I caught myself and I realized I'm doing this to myself. I need to be happy. But those thoughts had built a lot of momentum. And I was trying to spend time with my family, but I still had those thoughts in the back of my head stressing me out. But I did a good job, at least in my mind, of not ruining what was in front of me, Even though I wasn't living in the moment, I was living in my head, I didn't ruin what was in front of me. And at one point, it kind of got to be too much, so I went to the bathroom to calm myself down. And I was just listening to a little video, a little podcast to just help, get my mind off of it. And I sat down next to my mom. And I was just running through this. And at one point, it just clicked. It was, I'm not living in the moment. And in my head, I believe that living in the moment allows you to see every opportunity that is coming to you. There's always opportunities coming to you. And when you're in the moment and you're not thinking about other things, you can see every moment, every opportunity that's coming to you and be grateful for it. And I wasn't being grateful for the fact that I was sitting next to my mom. I'm sitting next to my mom watching a movie, and it was nice. And I just stopped thinking about all these stressful anxiety thoughts that were complete bogus to begin with and just had nothing to do with the moment. And immediately after that, she just came and rested her shoulder she rested her head on my shoulder. And I was grateful for it. I was in the moment. I wasn't thinking about other things that made no sense to think about. And I took that opportunity to enjoy it. And then, later I got the text that she was going to come pick me up. So I got ready, went out, and I started to get anxious again because, I just read the letter that was still really strong and still had built a lot of momentum in me. So I went out to the garage and I was sitting there, and my dad came out and he was talking to me. I kept looking out in the garage because the garage door was open, waiting to see if her car was going to pull up, because I could tell that I was anxious and I wanted to talk to her. But again, I wasn't in the moment. I wasn't enjoying this opportunity to connect with my father before I left again for who knows how long. And I caught myself because he was talking about games and he just got this really nice, happy look. And it's like, I can be like that right now, because in every moment, literally any moment, you can either feel terrible or you can feel good. And if I'm not feeling good, I'm wondering how I can feel good. And seeing him be happy just talking about this just made me realize, I love games. Like, I'm going to be happy with him. And I just threw those thoughts to the side, lived in the moment, and I took that opportunity. And, all those anxiety-filled thoughts were, as I thought, bogus. The drive back was phenomenal. It was great. We had a great talk, everything. And I'm just grateful that even though up here I can still lose myself, I'm no longer letting it come out. I have the mental muscles to keep myself locked in here, but keep at this well. I keep the negativity in here. And I personally think that's something that people need, is those mental muscles, that mental discipline to say, okay, I might be anxious, but I'm not going to let myself follow through with it. And that kind of comes with running into the fire and being burnt multiple times by following those anxiety-filled thoughts. And the importance of living in the moment. Because if you just focus on the now, there's always an opportunity to get something that you want, for a miracle, for happiness. There's always a moment, an opportunity in every single moment. And, I'm grateful that I understand that now. And I guess my new mental muscle that I got to develop is living in the moment, because I still mentally, I go off here and there. I'm not that stable. I'm a lot more stable than before, but not as stable as I want to be. And I guess that's the next thing I got to work on. But mental muscles, work on them. and work on realizing that in every moment there's an opportunity. Every moment, whether it be to enjoy time with your family, whether it be to work on your craft, whether it be to I don't know, but there's an opportunity for you in every single moment. It's just, if you're focused in on the moment, you'll recognize it and you'll appreciate it and you'll see it and you'll get it. You'll get it. Yeah, it's a short little one. I don't know. I have a lot of ideas. Maybe I'll bust them out this week. Who knows? Peace out, y'all.